Next, the US Defense Secretary gave Anthropic an ultimatum this week: open its artificial intelligence technology for unrestricted military use by Friday or risk losing its government contract. Officials also warning that they could designate the firm as a supply chain risk or invoke a Cold War era law called the Defence Production Act. Well, for more, let's cross live now to France 24's Wassim Cornet, who's standing by for us in LA. Wassim, tell us first, what exactly is the Pentagon demanding here from Anthropic?
Yeah, the Pentagon is essentially requesting that Anthropic remove its restrictions from how its AI model, which is called Claude, can be used inside a new internal military internal network, either do that or face the consequences. The Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, has given the company a Friday deadline tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If Anthropic doesn't agree, the Pentagon says it is ready to sever ties with the company to terminate its contract and even label it a potential supply chain risk, which would effectively put Anthropic on a government blacklist. Officials have also raised the possibility of invoking something called the Defense Production Act, which we'll get to in just a moment. Right now, Anthropic places limits on how its system, Claude, can be used. Those limits restrict things such as mass surveillance or autonomous weapons. It is the last major AI firm not to be fully plugged into this new Defense Department system. The CEO of the company, Dario Amodei, has publicly raised concerns about unchecked military use of AI. Now, the Pentagon, of course, has said it has no plans to break the law, but also that it will not allow a private company to set operational limits. Now, in the last few minutes, we've heard back from Anthropic. We were waiting to hear back from them following that new request by the Defense Department. They said that they cannot, in good conscience, accede to the Department of Defense's request. It explains that decision, saying that language received from the Department of Defense made no progress, that in terms of the mass surveillance of Americans and the use of autonomous weapons, saying that the words, this new language issued by the Department of Defense, is surrounded by legalese which would allow those safeguards to be disregarded.
And Wassim, as you say, the Defence Production Act has been mentioned as a possible means of retaliation. Just how significant would it be if the Pentagon actually were to use it?
Yeah, it would be a massive escalation. Let's talk a bit about what the Defense Production Act is. It dates back to the 1950s, to the Korean War, and it allows the federal government to direct private industry to prioritize national defense needs. It's been used in the past for things like COVID, medical supplies, energy shortages, but it's never been used to force a private company to alter safety rules of a product that it designed itself. Legal experts say that's the difference, and it could be a major issue if the Defense Department does decide to go down that route, that the government, it does allow it to change, that it can force a company to prioritize needs, but it cannot force a company to change AI rules or functions, and that would immediately be met likely with court challenges. And there's also tension within the Pentagon as to how to approach this, because as I did mention, the government is threatening Anthropic to cut ties with it and to put it on a supply chain risk list. But the officials privately within the Pentagon have also acknowledged that it is critical, the company Anthropic is critical to its military operations.
Wassim, thanks so much for joining us with that update and with that breaking news on that story. That's Wassim Cornet joining us live there from LA.